You mentioned that you were tired of the entire corporate rat race. What made you want to stop this?
Because of the problems which we had faced as parents, and if you ask any product manager, the first thing they have to do is solve problems for the users. Skadoosh happened because of that. Once you know that there's something which you can solve, I think that should be enough for a successful business to run. A business can only scale if it is independent of people. That includes me as well. If you have enough users coming and if you're able to retain them, you can find 10 different ways of earning more money out of that. So the idea is to have automation in the system as much as possible. These peripheral values are the ones which are actually getting the users back here at the end of the day.
Hey Nitesh, thanks for joining us today. To kick things off, why don't you give me a quick highlight reel of your career so far?
Thanks, Rohit, for having me here, first of all. Just been 1 year into my entrepreneurship journey, and I didn't expect to be sitting here and talking to a podcast, and I'm looking forward to our conversation here. Now, a quick synopsis of my journey. I'm an IIT guy, but I have not followed a typical IIT journey, I believe. It's been a very, very vague journey for me. I have been a programmer in Infosys as the first job. I worked in IT consulting services as my first job after MBA, and I moved straight away went into an entrepreneurship at a startup company. Rather, I would say I was not a entrepreneur at that time, but I joined a company at a very early stage. I joined the sales team of that company. So I went into the grassroots level of selling sports infra in schools in Jammu and Punjab. I got my hands dirty there. And then from there, after trying all these things, I stumbled upon product management. So after trying all these things, I felt that this is the place where I want to be. I joined ESPN as a product manager. From there, it's been product management all my life. Various companies, various levels, various verticals in product management, different domains. So I worked for ESPN, I worked for PokerStars in UK. I then came back to India, had my own startup in, again, product first company, again, app-based company. And then that didn't work out so well. So we had to shut it down. And then I joined 247.ai as a B2B product manager, senior product manager. And then the last job before my own business was into on mobile. I was the director of products for a gaming vertical of theirs called Challenges Arena. So it's been a very, very varied journey for me. Probably touched upon all the different points I could touch. And here I am into my own journey now. After my last stint in on mobile, where I was the director of products there. So there's always been that urge of starting something of my own. As I said, there was a startup of my own earlier as well, to create something in which truly I believe in and something which can add value to the whole society. Now, circumstances happened in a way that Skadoosh happened because of that. There was never a plan of having an offline physical space for kids. But then the idea of Skadoosh, it conceived when we started going with our kid to play areas. He was 4 years that time, he's 5 plus now. We started finding out there's some issues with the different play areas in the city of Bangalore running right now. And that's where we thought, okay, probably this could be one venture we can try our hand at. So Skadoosh, essentially, in a nutshell, it's a kids play and learn zone where our focus is to ensure that it's just not the physical activity of the kid which gets developed there. Rather, kids are also involved in cognitive development of theirs as well as social interactions with other kids. And it's a holistic place where not just the kids, but the parents also have a good time along with the kids. It's essentially a play and learn area for the age group of 1 to 9 years. That's where we are focused on right now. It's located in Harlow Road, and that's our first center so far.
Could you share a bit more about Skadoosh's numbers, what you end up tracking, what's the kind of scale you end up operating at? Whatever you're open to share.
For the better, any physical space, probably it is a capex heavy business. It's really asset heavy. And something like a play area, which has a lot of equipments coming from not just India, from outside as well. We started 1 year back, the 1st December 2023, when we launched Skadoosh. It involved a lot of investment in it, but my target was to get the operational profit as soon as possible. So month on month, let's hit a profitability there, so that some recovery starts happening there. That always leads to your margins, how you improve the margins, how you cut down the unnecessary cost in the company without compromising on the value. So right now, I would say in 1 year time, touchwood, we have hit 1 CR as our top line. So turnover was over 1 CR in the last year. Our gross margins are roughly around 30%, which is not bad for a physical space. Net margins around 20%. So we are running smooth, making some money after disposing of all the different types of cost, from resources to electricity bills to rents. We are making some money, still not up to the level of what my earnings were when I left my job, but that doesn't matter anyways. So we are doing operationally profitable. We are with around 20% margins.
Thanks a lot for walking us through that, Nitesh. Jumping back into my earlier questions, you went to IIT, then IIM, worked at a bunch of different companies. What made you want to start this? Because people always say about domain expertise and how that's important and things like that. So
when people say about domain expertise, that's also a very high level comfort zone, which probably prevents people from coming out of that. I sort of leveraged it. So I've been a product manager all my life. And if you ask any product manager in the whole industry, you will know that the first thing they have to do is solve problems for the users. That mindset never went away from me. It never vanished. I was solving user problems that time. I'm solving user problem now also. It is just that we always have different enablers to solve user problems. In my whole lifespan of corporate, it was technology which I was using to solve user problems. And right now it is not technology. It's a physical space, that's all. But my mentality, my mindset, and my pursuit to solve user problems did not change. It was not easy to leave something which I have garnered the expertise on for so many years. It was not easy, but I felt that if there's a real value I can create in the society, and there's really some difficult problems I can solve, I think that should be enough for a successful business to run. And thankfully, we are being proven correct so far. It's just about the scalability now we have to target, but we have been doing well so far there. So in a nutshell, I haven't transitioned much into my mindset level. Obviously, the way I'm solving the problem is different. Having said that, I haven't left technology and my experience far behind. So that's the differentiator I'll be creating using Skadoosh also. Skadoosh is solving user problem in the physical space. But now with my experience of product management, I'm going to use technology to improve the scalability of such a business. All right, to build things in a way that now it doesn't have to be a typical hardcore baniya wala business in a physical space. All right, that you get the money, you take your money. No, it has to be driven by systems and processes. And that's the layer I want to create here. So all my 10 years or 12 years of experience, use it here to have a foundation, strong foundation, and build this whole physical space, solving user problems on the top of that. That's my pursuit right now.
could you talk a bit more about that? What is this technology layer you're looking to build on top of this physical space and on top of Skadoosh?
Well, very soon in my journey, I realized that a business can only scale if it is independent of people. That includes me as well. Okay, the more I build people-dependent business, it's going to be very difficult not just to scale, to probably run that particular branch or particular center as well. So the idea is to have automation in the system as much as possible. We are probably the only play area in Bangalore which is conducting birthdays in a very systematic and professional way. Secondly, what we have built now is that we are having a self check-in checkout system, which we just launched 2 months back. That is, when a customer walks in, they don't need a manager or anybody out there or a receptionist to go into this play area. You have a tab there, you log in into that. So you register into that if you're a first time user. You list all your kids. Next time when you're coming, your kids are already listed. You would just tick mark whichever kids you want to check in right now and go there inside. It will automatically capture your current time. When you come out, you straightway click checkout. It will calculate the difference in the time which you have spent there. Accordingly, it will calculate the bill, share a QR code on the screen itself, and you make the payment there. So end-to-end experience from the time when you walk in to the time when you walk out. Probably don't even need anybody. It's like unmanned system for physical space. So that's one layer which we're building. And probably I'm going to talk further more about what's in plan next, which is going to be huge in terms of how we are going to build more systems and processes in our physical space. But that's so far what we have built and is doing well.
Could you talk a bit more about that? How are you thinking about what else you're going to be building? What are the other kinds of systems and processes that you're actually layering on?
So I'll have to start with what I'm trying to build next. That's important because right now what we have built is a play area which is solving kids' problems in terms of playing and learning together. Also providing some space for the parents to sit down. A kid has 4 different areas of development as a child. All right, there's physical, there's cognitive, then there's emotional, there's social. We have so far catered to 2 of them. That is the physical one and cognitive one. In the next Skadoosh center, which is going to be probably around 2.5 times bigger than the one which we have right now, we're going to cater to the other 2 areas as well. Have different ways of different avenues to make the emotional and social development of the kids also get higher. Along with that, one very key area which I was not able to solve in this particular Skadoosh was parents' time. I really don't want the parents to feel even iota of burden when they are bringing their kids for playing in Skadoosh. I would want them to have such an amazing time there that they look forward, and rather they are the ones who are the influencers to take their kids to Skadoosh from now on. Right now, the influencers are kids who are taking their parents there. So in the next Skadoosh, I want to have a premium lounge or a zone for parents to spend their time. Things like VR-based cricket or something like things like pool table, a reading section, board games where if parents are coming in groups, they can play board games. Lots of these kind of things which are planning. I'm also thinking of a pickleball sort of thing, which can be again a good attribute to have there because kids are having the physical attribute met in Skadoosh, but what about the parents? But that's another another consideration. But overall, this whole thing coming together where parents and kids both spend time together at a single place, that's what I want to build. Now, to build such a large scale, I need to have a defined set of systems and processes. I need to have a proper hierarchy in terms of the proper team. I need to have things using some software which are not explored yet, but I have to have some software which are taking care of the whole journey of the parent from when time when they come in to the time when they go out, in terms of not just billing and timing, but also in terms of capturing the feedback. Feedback loop is very important for us again. So get that thing so that we can keep on improving.
When we first spoke, you mentioned that you were kind of tired of the entire corporate rat race, and that was what actually pushed you to build something of your own. Were there other industries and opportunities that you explored before deciding on entering this space?
So let me take you to the former part of the question first, that the rat race of corporate. I would put a disclaimer here, Rohit, that it's very, very subjective, very individualistic as well. Okay, everybody has a different pursuit in life, different aspiration. So the people who are in corporate, they have their own aspirations, and not just aspirations, you think of their life in the background. They may have liabilities, they may have responsibilities. So everybody has their own choice. And I was in corporate for a long time because I had my own goal of reaching the senior leadership in product vertical someday, and have that kind of bird's eye view on the things my team is building and to deliver more values to the end users. I ran behind that pursuit for a long time, and I have no regret running behind it. It was very good. It was interesting. But then there comes a point in time when you achieve your goal, and then you look at yourself and look at a perspective where, okay, is this what I really wanted? And is this it for me? I think that's what happened when I became the director of products there. Probably that was one of my goals to become ever. And when I was there, I felt that probably I need to do something more in my lifespan. I was in my late 30s. You know, the energy level starts going down as you grow older. I think it's time for me to probably take a plunge, to take this risk of doing something of my own. And then circumstances also happened in the way, thankfully, that kind of made me take this plunge. So it happened that way. When it happened, thinking of creating a physical space altogether of kids play area was not my first goal. It is not the first thing on my list. So it happened this way, Rohit, that I thought I have to do something right now so as to create a secondary source of income for me, a passive source of income. Let me build something, let it lodge it, let it run on its own. And then I move back into my product management space, but not in a company, probably having my own consulting service of product management. That was the goal. And then we started thinking, a space became available near our house. We thought, okay, fine, let's take it on rent. And then we thought, what should we do? One way, the simplest thing to do is big space of 10,000 square feet, cut into pieces, sublease it for other people. And then we start collecting rent and you make some gap. Second was like, okay, should we have a food court out there? That's also a demand in this area. Or a fine dining. These were things which were running through our mind. So one was all these possible options for physical space. Then second thing was to start my own product management consulting service right now. Because of the problems which we had faced as parents while visiting these various play areas in Bangalore, because of the lack of growth or development in our kid in that 1 to 2 hours being spent in the play area, we thought, okay, fine, these are the good areas which we can leverage right now and which we should solve problems for. That's how we probably we circled on Skadoosh as the one which we should start. It wasn't easy at all. We had no idea about how things are being built. Zero knowledge about physical space, and especially a space into kids play area, which is a very, very sensitive space again. In those 4 months of me building there, I think I became, if not less than at least half civil engineer, I became there. Going in the morning every day, putting a mask on in all the dust and the drilling happening, the construction work happening there. I didn't even know that to build a wall, what are the different layers which come after a big thing is done. Is it the primer or the paint which comes first? How many layers of these things are there? Everything was running on the go. Interestingly, if 4 hours are spent on the site, 3 hours are spent on YouTube and Google to see what's happening there and what's next to it, to learn about all these things. This was my journey for the 4 months. And that's how, when it finally built out, as a PM, as a product manager, we always feel good that when you build some product and launch on the market, okay? You build a Swiggy app or you build a Book My Show app and you launch it and you feel, oh, good. But the kind of satisfaction or the kind of gratification you instantly get when you see a physical space coming out in front of you and when people are using it, that's unbeatable, okay? But physical space has its own sense of, giving you that gratification and the pleasure and the satisfaction there. So that came out really well. And finally, we built it and we launched it last December. I believe, Rohit, life is so random at times. It's about you if you're able to take a spontaneous decision on that or not. All right. There's a book which talks about fail fast, right? I think I somehow, genetically, I would say, I have that in me that I don't mind taking risks and failing fast. Once you know that there's a gap which you can solve, then you have to forget about why you did that, what happened, what were the other options. Forget about it. You need to just focus on that, and then you just dive deeper into it and then make sure that you are so immersed into it, by hook or crook, no corner in this whole solution is left behind. That's been a pursuit, and that's probably I'll go ahead with.
You definitely do have a high tolerance for risk over there, Nitesh. I'm glad you're making it work over there.
Yeah, I hope so.
I didn't mention this earlier. For the audience out there, my daughter's birthday was in Skadoosh, and the entire experience was so pleasant. It was like a turnkey solution for organizing kids' birthdays. All the vendors, as Nitesh was saying, was all in one WhatsApp channel. It was just super duper convenient. So you've definitely built something very interesting, which I don't see in the market in Bangalore at least. So props to you for making that happen.
Thank you so much. It's been so good, so heartwarming to hear from people like you about this thing. It's a credit to the whole team as well. We have credit to me for building such a team, but then the credit to the team, how they are delivering every experience like that. Thank you so much.
I want to understand. So you took this space, you thought about a couple of different things to do in that space, and eventually arrived on, hey, let's actually build a kids' play zone. There isn't anything else for my son, which is like this. I want to build something like this. Did you do any kind of market research, competitor research, look at like TAM, SAM, SOM analysis, or whatever it is to figure out, hey, is this really something to actually go into? Yeah, I'm curious to know what happened. What are the steps you took to actually be like, let's really learn more about this particular industry?
See, I said earlier that I have a risk appetite, but I have to be smart enough also to take the risks. I cannot go blindly into a business. And thanks to, again, my corporate experience, there is always a process to launch something. And that requires a lot of market validation first. So we did a user research at a very deep level out here. All right. I went into the societies in my apartment. So for example, first of all, get in touch with MyGate, find out that my target audiences are the parents. So I wanted to use MyGate data to find out how many apartments are there in the 5 kilometer radius. Unfortunately, because of Bangalore traffic, 5 kilometers is the maximum range you can think of when people can come out here. So take the 5 kilometer radius, find out the number of apartments there, then do your own analysis with a guesstimate that how many of those apartments will have family, how many of those families will have how many kids will be in the age group of 1 to 9, which we are catering to. It's a typical proper market user research format. You find that number, then you have another guesstimate that on weekdays, what's the traffic out of those people which will be coming in. Weekends, how many people will be coming in? How much will be the repeat customer for you? What will be the churn rate for these users who are coming there? That's one revenue stream of footfall. So you start your analysis from the market research and then find out the numbers and see if the numbers are decent enough or not. If the numbers are not decent enough, there are two ways to do it. Get the numbers high or get another revenue stream for yourself. And that's why we thought of a party hall. We thought, okay, there should be a party area as well, which will probably add to another revenue stream. So Rohit, when we did our guesstimate in the beginning, our projections, we thought, okay, people love to celebrate parties outside. They love to celebrate parties in the apartment complex as well. Maybe we'll get one party every weekend we should get. That's our target. So basically 8 parties in a month is our minimum requirement we should get. And let's go with that. At best, we'll get a 10 number as well. Sometimes we'll get 2 parties also. Or so 3 parties in a week or maybe that way. And we'll went to that. As of now, in the last 1 year, our average number of parties is 22 per month. And January itself right now is the third time when we are crossing 30 parties in a month. So last year we had 2 months which had more than value. So somehow that just went up like this. And we'll call it coincidence, but the party hall is in a place and it is separated by a glass wall where parents can always have a look at their kids. They can always oversee the kids. So they're in the viewpoint and they can still have their own time together. So one very important thing which I realized while creating this business is that if you have users with you, enough users coming every time, and if you're able to retain them, they're coming again and again to your place, you can find 10 different ways of earning more money out of that. That's okay. So there, with that philosophy in mind, we went ahead and, took the plunge of having Skadoosh with even the minimal margins which we were thinking at that point in time. Thankfully, we are hitting better margins with that, but that was our approach for us.
All right, amazing. When I think about Skadoosh and its USP, right, the hero product, because you do have a cafe, you do have a party hall, etc., etc. But the most interesting part about Skadoosh, which I don't see anywhere else, is you have the pretend play section and all those separate rooms for kids to actually go ahead and play in, and everything is super clean. That's something that my wife always complains about. It's like, hey, things are unhygienic, etc., etc. But Skadoosh is not like that at all, and that's the core product on top of which you sort of set up the party hall, the cafe, everything else around that. So I'm a big believer in that as a product person as well, where you need to have one core value proposition and then you can actually end up like building other things on top of that. So makes total sense.
100%. I mean, the maintenance and hygiene were again a very, very big pain point for us when we went to other places in Bangalore. The size of bathrooms, the washrooms which we have, the size of washrooms which we have in Skadoosh is so huge, for which I had a fight with my wife that please, why are we building such big washrooms? And for her, it was like, no, things have to be big spacious and clean every time. I told her it's a cost center for us, not a revenue center. She's like, I don't give a damn about what is a cost center or revenue center. Don't throw those jargons on me. I just want the place should be speckless and clean and should be big enough. Somehow these peripheral values are the ones which are actually getting the user back here again and again. I just spoke about pretend play areas. Thanks for bringing that up because it totally skipped my mind. When we have been to other play areas, we have a lot of play areas which have all these active zones, highly active zones, the trampolines, the slides, the ball pits, all these things are there. People don't tend to realize that these are just engaging the kids for 20 to 30 minutes probably. Or if they are very, very big, then 40 minutes or so. For us, 70% of the time the kids are spent in the pretend play areas. Now, what are these pretend play areas? These are areas where kids go into the certain zone, those small areas, and they take up the role of that particular area. So if there's a celebrity room, they become celebrity, they dress up themselves, they put fake makeup and all, and then they try to become different characters there. There's a cafe in which kids, and that's a hotspot right now, the cafe section, the pretend cafe, not the real cafe. It was so interesting to see that kids are actually performing real life things in the cafe. For example, when they see at home that parents are ordering from Swiggy, that's what they do at the cafe. They go behind the counter, they pick up the phone, they take up oh yeah, Swiggy, yes, okay. One burger, okay, French fries, all right, okay. They put the phone down and then after that, they tell the father, you are a Swiggy delivery boy, come in 15 minutes, I'll get it ready. And then they make the whole thing ready. Then they have the billing process, they take the money, they give the packet and give it to them. Replicating the whole real life thing in that area, which was so amazing to see that thing. So these pretend play areas are the ones which are serving two things. One, making the kids being more creative and spend more time in that way. And secondly, one thing which is lacking in all the areas in Bangalore is the parents-child engagement. These areas are the ones where parents and child come together and bond and spend time together, which nowadays, unfortunately, parents are not getting enough time to spend with the kids. So happy that this thing is working out. And as I said earlier, with the next Skadoosh, we're taking a couple of notches up, have some more engagement centers for parents and kids to come together and spend time together. So yeah, that's how we are probably creating a USP in the market.
Can you talk a little bit about how you actually set up the first center beyond the civil work, right? Getting all the equipment, figuring out these are the pretend play areas you needed, figuring out these are the hires that you needed. Just from an operational tactical point, that's something I'm curious about here as well.
It was a difficult journey, of course, but I had fortunately some good partners with me who helped me in this. So we found a team called Gudgudi, which is a design team. It's run by Aditi Agarwal. And she's an early pass out who has been only focused on kids play area ever since passing out from NID. We partnered with her. She's the one who came up with few concepts. On the other hand, it was a market research from me and my wife side also through Google, not just in India, outside of India, how kids are doing what they're doing. Ultimately, we came out with a plan of having soft play area, which is the trampoline and the slides and all, and the pretend play area. These two zones should be there in the space which we have. Then comes the part of procuring the items. So there are two ways of doing the business. One is you build on your own from here. Secondly, you procure from outside. So the soft play area essentially are very ready-made and they come from either some southern parts of India or from China. And then you get the team to install them here. So this is the soft play area. The pretend play area is something which is supposed to be really, really strong because as you have seen in Skadoosh also, there are two layers of pretend play areas and this whole structure has to be really strong. So we got a team from Mumbai who was pretty good in terms of building these kind of play areas. The whole team of 15 people were here in the center building the things. The procurement of the materials took part from various parts of the country, but this is how they built the pretend play areas. Then there are other elements, for example, the animals, which are the fiber made animals. Now, these are not easily available in Bangalore or Karnataka. So doing some random search on India Mart and getting into connect with people from Kolkata and Nagpur and Bhopal and all, getting in touch with them, getting the quotations from them, getting a video clip to see how they're looking, and then trusting on them because these people always send you the order only after 100% payment. So you need to trust that, okay, fine, I'm making the 100% payment of the 3 lakh rupees, but they will send the stuff here. Anyways, doing that and then getting the things from there to here, that's again a big hassle because these people will send by train. So it comes to Yeshwanthpur station. You need to go there, pick up the things, get them here, and then get it up on the Skadoosh floor. So various dimensions, various places, got to hit your head in all different places to find the right vendor and get the right thing, and then you get it delivered and build it here. If you have seen, there's a car in Skadoosh. Okay, it's a half-built car, and that's actually a 1965 Padmini model, which is there, which is in India. And somehow randomly we were talking and we thought, okay, we should have a raw look in this Skadoosh and we should get a real car. Okay, cool. Let's get a real car. From there we went, should we get a real vintage car? Yeah, let's get a real vintage car. Oh, should we get a very old car of India which fathers and like these grandfathers they can connect really well? Okay, fine, let's go there. All these things and talks are very good. When it comes to execution, to find that old vintage car, to get it from some part of Karnataka to this place, then Unfortunately, we are at third floor. It can't go up. So you need to get a welding guy to cut it in half first at the ground floor. Then take it through the stairs upstairs because in the lift it will not fit. Then bring it up and then again through welding join it again there. Oh my god! Why did we even think of this idea? But yeah. Doesn't matter. Finally, when people enter Skadoosh, they see the car the first thing, and the kids love spending time there. It pays off. But the hassle behind that was horrible but worthy.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for sharing that story. I'm sure you've had a lot of battle scars working with all these different people, getting these things up. Building an app is so easy.
Oh no, yeah. Incredible journey. I don't know. Sometimes I used to, while the things were getting built there, right? So I was to stand there. I don't know, 11 o'clock in the night. It's 11 p.m. Things is still, work is still going on. I'll stand and like, just think, why the heck did I come? What am I doing? I was so happy, AC job properly working there. I was like, why the heck did I start this thing? What made me do this thing? Fast forward 2 months, and I was like, thank God I built this. I'm so happy I built this. When I stand there through the glass walls, I see all these kids playing, jumping. You find that you've created a happy zone there. So all that blood and sweat which went behind, absolutely forgettable at that point in time. And you feel like, okay, wow. And there's a very, sort of on the borderline of sadistic character of mine which comes alive in Skadoosh when I see the kids crying when they're leaving Skadoosh. I'm like, I'm so happy. The kids are crying while this guy is so happy. So I'm so content with this now. So this is how the things pay off in life.
Love it. Love it. Cool, Nitesh. So Skadoosh is fully bootstrapped, right? Or did you get any
Yeah.
partners on board?
No, it's bootstrapped.
Talk to us about that, in terms of how did you manage your personal finances, your personal runway, and so on, because it's not cheap, right? Everything that you did. The rent itself was for the entire year, like 50 lakhs plus, then all the equipment. And you guys have definitely not cheaped out on like the quality of stuff there because stuff is very, very high quality, right? It is sturdy and you worked with really good partners. So walk us through that. How did you end up figuring out how much you were going to invest? How long were you like, okay, this is how long I'll keep going at this point if it doesn't work out? Did you have those kinds of thoughts in your head before you started?
Yes and no. I had certain benchmarks. I had certain, figures for me that, okay, this is something which I'll not cross for sure. But when we start building a play area for kids, I don't mind it because the emotional part also comes into picture where you are not just building a business, but you need to make it a very safe place for them. You can't compromise on the quality there. As you said, it's premium quality. And that's why we thought we'll never compromise on that. Forget about somebody suing us for any injury kids get. It doesn't matter at all. I mean, we have enough, safeguards for that. But it's the feeling which we will carry back home that if some kid gets hurt there. So we build premium quality. Having said that, multiply the number which I had in my mind by 0.3, 0.4x. When we started building it out, we had thought, okay, fine. Overall, completely in 50 lakhs, we'll get it done. And that was the target for us. Once we started building things, it went up. So initially the plan was that I'll use my own savings and I'll have some investments which I already done. I'll liquidate them and put the money. It was probably almost the whole of my savings of my lifetime going in there. Once the numbers cost 50 lakh, that time I had to take help from my family as well, my parents. Overall, my money, which was there, the whole savings that went there, and some extra money was taken from my parents. So it's in a family, it is still bootstrapped in a way. But having said that, the next Skadoosh is going to be a very expensive affair again. And that's where somehow all the people from my batch or the people from my friend circle who have seen me building this thing, they have shown a lot of interest in terms of investing in the next Skadoosh, one single center and maybe the second one. I mean, I'm planning to build 3 in the next 1.5 years, total Skadoosh centers. So one is already, 2 more I have to build. So they have shown the interest. My plan is to not go into the venture capitalist domain at all right now. I don't want to go to the VC park or now. But the money from my end or my parents and this inner circle of friends, that's the money which I'll be using it for the building the next Skadoosh. So that's how it went. Yeah, it went up a little higher than expected. But thankfully, the operational margins are good. And the recovery period, which was expected to be 5 years, probably in 3 years, we'll recover all the money which we have put in the business.
Awesome, Nitesh. Thank you so much for your time. I had a blast speaking to you.
And I'd had a great time, Rohit, seriously, and was so happy to talk about things which were somehow deeply embedded in my mind, in my heart, which were there and which came out alive while talking to you. And had a pleasant time with you. Great.
Thank you so much, Nitesh. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.